right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Right on Target podcast. As always, we are your hosts. I'm Justin. I got Mike.
What up?
No Aubrey in the studio today. He will be back next week, but we have a very special guest. I'd like to introduce Miss Brown-McCoy. Sorry.
Hello.
How are you doing, Miss Barbara?
I'm doing well, and I thank you all for inviting me. Justin has been trying to get me here for the last year, so yes. I finally made it.
Yes.
Glad you can make it out.
Yes, we're very happy to have you. Very special guest, for sure. Miss Barbara is a very talented athlete, 2-time Hall of Famer, 5-time Hall of Famer. 5-time
Hall of Fame.
Hey, you know what?
It's hard to keep up, I'm sure.
There's a lot. 5 of them. That's very impressive. Very impressive. So we are very thankful to have you in the studio. Thank you for coming out here. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. So one thing, the way I want to start out here is the beginning of your sport career. You made your mother a promise, correct?
I did. When I was in the 6th grade, my mother and I were watching the 1964 Olympics, way before y'all's time. Y'all weren't even thought of, I'm sure. And it was something about that special ceremony of the 64 team standing on that podium and being draped with medals. And I told my mom at that point, I said, I'm going to be in the Olympics one day. I said, that's going to be me. My mother never doubted anything I said. She always encouraged. So throughout my career, I was just always going toward that goal.
Wow. Yeah, and you did make that goal.
And I made that goal.
Amazing.
Yes. 1980, I was selected as one of the alternates on the 1980 Olympic team because they boycotted that year. Yeah. So we weren't able to play, but the promise was still fulfilled.
That is very true. That is very true. Why did it get boycotted?
Well, Russia was at war with Afghanistan at the time.
Oh.
And Carter didn't want to send us over there in the middle of a war. And, you don't ever know, but I think a lot of times when it comes to sports, especially Olympics, I don't think countries ever allow what they're going through to interfere with the Olympics because it's special. Mm-hmm. But we didn't want to take that chance, and my life is more important.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's definitely probably for the best.
Yes,
for sure. I guess I just had never known why. I figured it was something like that, like the host country had some issues going on. Okay. So you started playing basketball in the 6th grade? In the 6th grade.
At that time you just playing not often, but you're playing weekly, probably against different schools. I didn't start playing competitively until what I call competitively, probably to the 10th grade, because 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, I just didn't, even though we went to the city championships, I don't think I took it as serious. I was just out there having fun. Mm-hmm. Like for the most part, that's all I did when I played basketball. I was just out there having fun. It was
right,
and I received all the accolades and awards for it, but just one of those players that had fun.
Yeah.
But hey, that's good though. You want to do what you love, have fun doing what you love. So that is great.
When you made that promise to your mother, did you know it was going to be basketball that you wanted to pursue?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so it was always basketball. Yeah.
When I was at South Oak Cliff as an athlete, I competed in 4 different sports. Mm-hmm. My first invitation to the Olympics was in volleyball.
Oh, wow.
And I turned it down because I really loved basketball. Uh-huh. And I would have had to leave high school my senior year in 77 and train all the way up until 1980. Mm-hmm. And there was no way I was going to make that commitment,
That's a real tough commitment to make.
Right.
So what other sports did you play then? Volleyball?
Volleyball and basketball.
Okay.
Ran track. And I guess that's what I was doing, running track, because I didn't like track at all. That was probably my least sport. And then, whatever, we had to run cross country if we were running track. So.
Okay. Very, very interesting. So in high school, you played 6-man basketball or 6-woman basketball, 6-on-6.
Yes.
Could you explain that a little bit into detail for the people?
It's a very tough concept.
I just mentioned to you and Michael that I know I'm reaching an audience tonight that had no idea what type of basketball that I competed in, but essentially you had 12 players on the field, on the court at one time. It's like playing 3-on-3 at both ends of the court. I was a defensive player, and I couldn't go past half court, but I played defense against the opponent's offense. If they scored, and that's a big if they scored, we would get the rebound, pass it to each other to bring the ball up to half court, and then pass it to our offensive players where they would compete against our opponent's defense. And when I played at South Oak Cliff, it was very unusual for a team, unless we allowed them to get 10 points.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
We were just that good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So y'all's offense was as good as your defense.
Yeah. How good was the offense?
Real good.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Because I would feel like it would be pretty frustrating if y'all get a good defensive stop and then, your
I
offense
tell you,
blows up.
we've played teams and the score could be like 100-2.
Oh,
Okay.
100-10.
Mm-hmm.
wow.
And to tell you, and not bragging because it wasn't fun, just scoring and having to play like that. So I can actually tell you there were times that our coach would make the defense stand at half court and let the other team score.
Oh.
That's how bad it was.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say bad, but that's our competitiveness. If he didn't make us do that, they would never score.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
We were blessed to have a lot of athletes to come through South Oak Cliff from the time I started playing there in 75 up until I graduated in 77.
Wow.
That's great.
Yes, it is. So your record, in the 3 years that you played, was 102 wins to 9 losses. That is beyond incredible.
And you know what? The teams we lost against were teams up in West Texas where those girls start playing together in the first grade, little dribblers and all of that, and they were good. Would never take that away from anybody, but to us, I think it was the fact that we were just coming into UIL, getting used to playing against teams that we'd never seen before. Sometimes even at the state tournament, our first year going to state in 76, it was like it would be like us walking into the AAC and playing on that court and all those people looking, get nervous because we had never been in that environment.
Yeah.
But when we lost that first year, and we did lose, we cried all the way back to Dallas and promised that they would see us again the next year. Mm-hmm. And we kept that promise also. Okay, and we won state championship 77, 78, 79, lost in 80, and then they won again in 81.
Man, that's incredible. Mm-hmm. Wow. So I did some research on you. So you were the first girls player in Texas to be called for goaltending.
Yes.
Was that a one-time deal?
It was a one-time deal.
Oh, okay.
And we were in the Plainview Classic up in West Texas at Wayland Baptist in a tournament. Yeah. And that has stood for ever, I guess, because people are still talking about it. And unless someone asks me, I never talk about it.
How upset were you with that goaltending call when it happened?
Didn't bother me one bit.
Oh, really?
Now, my coach, Gary Blair, he almost came out of shirt, coat, and everything. It just made him so mad.
Yeah. I'm sure.
So Gary Blair, he's a pretty accomplished head coach as well.
Very.
Did he help hone your game pretty good?
Yes.
I don't want to take anything away from you, but did he?
No. I can tell I was blessed with athletic ability.
Right.
But I said earlier, just being an athlete and good at it, you don't know what else you have to put into that to become great. And I always recite a saying that a teacher taught me when I was in high school: good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and your better is best. I always wanted to be the best at whatever I did. And so I was an excellent student of basketball. And I learned a lot from Coach Blair. There's one thing playing defense, but learning defense to the point that you determine what the offensive player does, that's the type of player I was.
Right.
That's impressive.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And Gary helped you with, or Coach Blair, he helped you with, you were a young mother.
Yes.
And he helped you out there. They almost didn't let you play. Is that correct?
Well, Dallas had some rule that if you were a young mother, that you weren't allowed to participate in sports. And Coach Blair had watched me play from the 7th grade until time I came to South Oak Cliff, and he just thought that that was unfair. You're taken away from, just because, I wouldn't call it a mistake, but a young lady have a child has nothing to do with her athletic ability. And so he went downtown Dallas and fought for me to be able to play. And to this day, I'm forever grateful. We talk probably once or twice a month. We've always had a close relationship. And I never have felt that I owed him anything, but because I think we, together, I made it good for him. He made it good for me because he has a state championship, you know. So, but he's one of my favorite people he's one of my favorite. Yeah.
Well, that's great. You know, that's incredible that he stood by you and, you know, he fought for you. You know, I know beyond basketball, that's also a huge thing. I'm glad that he was there for you.
Well, Coach Blair is very persuasive. I can say that. I had visited probably about 3 or 4 colleges before I decided on Stephen F. Austin, and I didn't decide. Coach Blair and my mother decided. So that's how far, you know, it was a matter of us going to visit the late Sue Gunter, who her last years were at LSU. She promised my mother, just like my promise to my mom that I was going to be, she promised my mom that if I came to Stephen F. Austin, that she would assure that I get my degree. No other coach had promised my mother that. And that's all it took for her. Mm-hmm. So she told me on the way home, you can stop accepting calls, going on visits, or anything else. You're going to Stephen F. Austin. Because Coach Blair had already told her that that's where I should go.
Wow. Wow. And Sue Gunter is she was very accomplished as well.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
So that's a lot. And I know how important to your mother it was for you to get your education as well as, you know, play basketball.
I've been blessed to play for some excellent coaches, the greatest of if I say the greatest coaches in women's basketball. Mm-hmm. Coach Blair was my high school coach. I played for Pat Summit. 79 team, USA 79 Pan Am team. And then Miss Gunter, I played for her at Stephen F. Austin, but she would have been my Olympic coach. So I've been blessed to play for some high-quality coaches. And I just count it all joy because God has blessed me, not only with the talent, but to put special people in my life to keep me on the path that I'm going.
Yeah. And that's a lot of knowledge they can pass down onto you as well. I'm sure you soaked up a lot of knowledge from being able to spend time with those legendary coaches. That's great.
Absolutely. So I know what other schools were you interested in before?
I don't know if I was interested in any school. I just visited because coaches were inviting me.
Oh, they were interested in you.
Yeah, they were pursuing me.
Okay.
I can't ever explain to anyone how I am as an athlete because, like I said, I played to have fun. And when I came out of high school, I had over 30-something offers to go anywhere I wanted to go.
Wow.
I don't even think I took it serious. It wasn't that big of a deal. I just wanted to play basketball.
See what the big deal was.
No big deal. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, and I think that's one thing in this day and age that a lot of athletes kind of lose, you know, their focus either, you know, on the money or whatever they're focused on. You know, you want to have fun. I mean, I'm not saying all athletes are that way. A lot of athletes, you know, they do like to go out there and have fun. They love the sport. That's great. But like you mentioned earlier, you know, a lot of it's because they're athletic.
Yeah.
And they can.
Yeah.
So I love that you just had so much fun with it. That's just what you wanted to do.
Yeah. I've always, and that's the way I've always approached sports, period. I never was excited to the point that I was wanting to sell myself for somebody to come out. I just played. I just loved playing. Always have. I grew up with 5 brothers. I was the only girl.
Oh,
So that tomboy spirit, I was competitive, just being with my brothers. And only my youngest brother and probably the one that's 3 years older than me ever played sports outside, but they didn't go to the next level like I did. They played Pop Warner or whatever, but that one that's 3 years older than me, all he wanted to do was work so soon. But the youngest he was probably would have been more competitive, but he didn't have the height. Uh-oh. He always tell people I stole his height. So.
Oh, man. And when you did play at Stephen F. Austin, was that the regular basketball? Or was
yes, we went back. I went to 5-man. Okay. And you know what? I have to give Coach Blair credit. Even though we played 6-man basketball, we practiced 5-man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because he was getting us ready for the next level. So we would practice 5-man basketball.
That's smart of him because I can imagine going from 6-man to 5-man. Right. That's a really tough adjustment.
Well, in middle school, I played 5-man. Okay, High school is the only time that I played 6-man basketball.
Okay.
And even after we went back to 5-man in Texas, the Texas-Oklahoma All-Star game, they were still playing 6-man. So we would have to go and play 6-man in Oklahoma.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So was the transitioning ever hard for you, switching from 6-man back to 5-man and so on?
No. Basketball is basketball. I don't care how you play.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
So we know you were pretty good at defending, and that's an understatement.
Yeah.
Definitely a blocker, I would say, for sure. Did you get a lot of blocks?
I did.
Okay.
I tell people, even though I played high school defense, I learned the most about defense from Pat Summitt. Mm-hmm. She was one of the best defensive coaches I've ever played for. And I think it's because that was her style of play. Offense wasn't a big deal to her. Yeah. She even told me when I tried out for the Pan Am team, there was over 300 girls trying out. And she said what caught her attention was the fact that I was always running down the ball and I was always defending. And she was a defensive coach. Mm-hmm. That's what she was labeled as. So that's lucky me, yeah. That I played, because she said you can always teach a person offense, but you can't teach a player defense, not the level that she wanted it played.
Right.
And we had enough offensive players on our team that she hadn't. We had Ann Myers from UCLA, Nancy Lieberman, Carol Blazejowski, who at that time was one of the leading women offensive players. She played up in New York, where most good players came from upstate, the East Coast, West Coast. But we had a team full of athletes, but not everybody played defense.
Okay. And that's when you were able to shine.
Yes.
But even though you were good on defense, you were quite a scorer though as well.
I wasn't a ball hog, but I knew how to score.
Okay.
Yeah. When I went to Stephen F. Austin, I did spend more time scoring then because it was necessary at that time.
Right.
And first All-American at South Oak Cliff, but went to Stephen F. Austin and I started scoring, like you said. And, then the other accolades came along with that.
Right.
What position did you play at?
I was the 4.
You were the 4.
Oh, the 4.
Yeah.
Because I know on 6 it was 3 forwards and 3 guards. Is that what? Okay.
Yeah.
But you were the 4 in college.
I was the 4 and 5-man.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you got the height for it, so I can see that.
But I played the 4 because I could jump.
Oh, okay.
That was the only reason. Because we had the 5 players 6'3".
Oh, okay.
We had young ladies taller than 6'2". I'm only 6 feet tall. Only.
Yeah, you say only.
Because now if you think about athletes now, 6 feet is short for girls. We have some tall young ladies playing now.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So per your Hall of Fame spotlight on the DISD website, I pulled these stats. Now this was as of 2019. I tried to look for sooner. But at SFA, you ranked 3rd in scoring with 2,023 points. I think I said that right. 2023. Yeah.
Yeah.
You were fourth in rebounding at 1,240. Wow, that's good. Fourth in field goals at 815, and sixth in free throws, 393.
My free throw was terrible for
me. Were you 50-50 on your free throws?
I was probably a little bit more better, but I didn't really shoot a lot of free throws. Really, I don't. I always feel. I think when I interview anytime, I always feel like I'm bragging, but I could jump, and I was quick, so I didn't get fouled that much. Yeah. Right. You know.
So. You can brag. You can brag. No. You deserved it. You earned it. Look at these accolades.
I know it's hard to talk good about yourself, but that's what we want. We want people to know how good you are or were. Yeah. And still are. You're a great person, of course.
Thank you.
You are very.
Don't say are in basketball, because no.
Oh, I don't.
Somebody roll a basketball to me now, I'll probably kick it to the other end of the court. No.
I'm sure you can still shoot it a little bit.
I can, but I'm one of those people. I was blessed to play basketball all of these years and never was seriously injured. And I'm not gonna get out there playing around and
don't play
at this age break a leg or something. I've never been seriously injured at all in any sport that I ever played.
That's a blessing.
Yeah, it is. And so I'm not going to push my luck.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. So tell us more about the Pan Am team that you were a part of.
Well, I always tell people when I share this story that the Pan Am Games were like a prerequisite to the Olympics.
Oh, okay.
And pretty much if you made the Pan Am team, that was almost the exact same team that was going to make the Olympic team. Almost the exact same one. But what I love, the fact that the Pan Am Games, when we won the World Championships in Korea, it gave me that opportunity to stand on that podium because I didn't get to in 1980 for the Olympic Games. So it really was my Olympics.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Yeah, we won 2 gold medals and a silver that year.
Okay.
Yeah, the Pan Am Games were in, the World Championships was in Korea, but the Pan Am Games were in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Oh, wow. That's quite a distance.
Yeah, what was it like traveling across the world to just do the basketball? That's pretty crazy.
I mean, anytime you make it a team, USA team, you can at least be expected to be gone away from home 2 months, the least. And when I made the Pan Am team, we trained at, Pat Summitt was our coach, so we trained at her facilities in Tennessee. And we were there a month before we ever went overseas. And a month with Pat Summitt is something you'll never forget. Her practices were tough.
Yeah, I'll bet.
But we knew that the type of coach that Pat was, she wanted us to be the best. And I tell, just for jokes, because I really loved her as a person, I tell people sometimes now I wake up from my dreams shaking thinking about Pat Summitt because she was awesome. Yeah. I wouldn't trade that time for anything. I had the pleasure of being with Miss Gunner as a college coach, so I was used to her. And Coach Blair, he was a disciplinarian, but he also knew we needed him to be the father figure for us because most of us grew up in single-parent homes. And so he was that type of coach. He had 2 roles. He had to be the father and the coach, but he was good at both.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now that speaks volumes.
Yeah.
That I think that's a good coach, not only helping you on the court, but also off the court as well. That's
and his main thing was caring about helping our mothers or helping our household just to keep us safe because Coach Blair was one of those coaches, you outside when you should be in the house, and he'd drive through the neighborhood and you're like, where is he going? But he wanted to make sure we were at home, in the house safe at a certain time of night. Yeah, those type of things, father figurely things.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that speaks volumes for him as a person.
And so now you understand why we talk often and keep in touch with each other.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now, does he still try to fall through you now a
little bit? No, he's gone on about his business, but I have a close relationship with he and his family.
Okay.
Because his sisters and brothers watched us grow up, We were all just one big family. Yeah. And then his daughter and son, we were like big sisters to them. So, because we've had that relationship with Coach Blair, I think. my life I've had a blessed life. I can honestly say that. It's been great. The ups and the downs. I learned from both. And so I've been blessed to go through those things and come out. And I think I'm still a good person after all the things that I've dealt with. Yeah.
I would agree. I mean, I've known you for 10 plus years now, so it's been quite a journey.
Yeah.
See, I mean, you always have a smile on your face. You can make really good desserts.
Okay.
I miss those banana bread cookies. She makes banana bread cookies that are out of this world, man.
Okay.
For real.
I just gave away the last of some I just made on Tuesday. On Tuesday. Mm-hmm.
Oh man!
But my mother was a chef and a cook.
Okay.
And so, having 5 brothers and my mother having to work, you better learn how to survive. Yeah. So, I enjoy cooking, but it's not anything I have to do all the time because all my children are grown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing to bake? Would you say?
I don't know if I have a favorite because I have to get it in my head that I want to bake first. So whatever comes up, that's what I...
Just whatever you're in the mood for?
Whatever I'm in the mood for.
Okay.
I don't know if I have a favorite. Anything that's not complicated that I can do and do well.
Right.
Because I don't do good not doing well. I have to do well with it. Whatever I do has to be done well. And sometimes I'll make a dessert, and if people brag on it too much, when you going to do that? I won't ever make it again.
Oh, yeah. Why not?
I don't know, because I don't want that to keep coming up every time.
You don't want to be the...
I don't want that.
The banana pudding lady.
Yeah. Bring banana pudding. Yeah. No, I don't want to be that.
Yeah, I understand.
Oh, man. So after your playing career, you transitioned into coaching and teaching, correct?
30 years.
30 years. And what was the transition like going from being the one on the court playing to being the coach?
My first job was at Brown-Adams High School, and I was still young enough that I could play. And so I hadn't transitioned yet because every day of practice I was playing along with the players. Was still the coach, but I could compete and make them the type of player I wanted them to be at the next level. And I have players that tell me that all the time, that I prepared them for the next level. But once I left Brown-Adams, I went back to South Oak Cliff for a few years. And where I was able to take a team to the state semifinals, state quarterfinals, and we lost the first game into the state champion. I came back. At that time, my son was coming into high school. I've always been a strict parent and telling him what I needed him to do as a young man. And so his senior year, I thought, okay, every child should enjoy their senior year. And if I'm here and he's acting up, he won't enjoy his. So I left and went to the suburbs and coached. And I was away probably 10 years before I came back to South Oak Cliff. But when I came back, I came in a different capacity. I was athletic director. And when I came back, I was female coordinator for 3 years. And then I became the first female athletic director, campus athletic director, along with received South Oak Cliff having its first female principal. So 1 year we had females in the higher positions as far as the athletic director and the principal of the school. But it never was, I don't think it was ever a transition because it goes back to, again, your love for the game. Mm-hmm. You always, in your head, you're still playing and you're coaching the same way that you're trying to teach. Right before I went to South Oak Cliff, I was in Cedar Hill. Okay. And I coached at a middle school. And I was there for 4 years. And 4 years, my volleyball or basketball team were undefeated in district. But my girls, when they left, I coached middle school players same way I coached the high school players. Mm-hmm. And so when they left middle school, they were starting at the high school level in 9th grade.
They were ready.
I had some awesome athletes, though. Those kids were, and not so much athletic, but they were coachable. And that makes a difference when you can portray onto the kid what you know is right and they listen and then follow through. Now, I'm not going to ever say I didn't have players that thought they knew basketball until they ran into someone better than them, and it kind of woke them up. But I always tell someone about this one young lady, very talented, when I was coaching in the suburbs. She was an excellent offensive player. Me being a defensive coach, I'm okay with that as long as you play defense. And she, every time she would score, the young lady she was guarding would score because she's not playing defense. And I guess the other young lady wasn't either because she was allowing my player to. And I just got frustrated, so mad because she was giving up so many points. I called a timeout. I called my assistant coach up, take her to the locker room because if she's going to watch this player score and play up and down this court, she needs to buy a ticket. And I made her sit right back go get your ticket, and you can sit here and watch all you want to, but you're not going to watch for free. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you have to do things like that just to get their attention because some athletes think that they're the best and there's no consequences if they do whatever they want to. So you have to, but they knew I loved them. Mm-hmm. She never was mad at me for doing that because she knew the purpose for it. And that's how we have to be. And I'm going to kind of get off of sports and talk about just children specifically because I love them. I love teaching. I love being around kids because just like they learn from us, I learned from them. There's a lot of things these kids do. I don't have a clue. But once I ask them, they explain it to me. But I think now our children are in a bad place because we are asking children to do adult things with children minds, and they can't figure it out. And I think that's why we have a lot of upset, mad, angry children suffering from mental illness because they want to be children. They want to be young adults, but they're having to do adult things, and it's frustrating. And it's frustrating to me. I want them to be able to be young adults and live our life goes in cycles. You're a baby, do baby stuff. Mm-hmm. If you're a toddler, do toddler stuff. You know, when you get to be a young adult in high school, yeah, you're going to experiment with, but you can't figure out adult things that you shouldn't be paying bills, working, doing all these grown folks things at 16 and 17 years old. You're supposed to be enjoying your life. And right now, I'm just really praying and asking God to help me because I need to have an interaction with children again because I think I have something to offer in a different way than what they're used to every day. It's going to come. It's going to come. I'm going to stay with it until it does because my high school and where I retired from South Oak Cliff, we have a high number of homeless kids. Why are children homeless?
Right.
Why? I didn't say homeless families. I'm saying homeless kids. And that's wearing on my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm seeking a way to help. Not resolve it, not try to, but I want to help. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's definitely tough. And that is very unfortunate that these kids are on the streets, homeless without a place to go. I think if anybody can help.
All I want to do is just fix a big pot of beans and rice and just feed somebody. Mm-hmm. That's my thing. I always do say I want, even if they're out there in the street, I want them to at least have one good meal before they lay their head down at night. Because sometimes that's all it is.
Yeah, and stuff like that can go a long way. Like further down in life, they'll look back and realize somebody cared about them at that moment.
Right.
Like little stuff to us can make a big impact to these kids.
Exactly.
No, absolutely. And that's why, like you said, kids are having to either grow up too soon, or they want to grow up too soon, and so they put themselves there. You got to be a kid. You got to be, like you said, take your life step by step. Because if you're doing grown up stuff when you're a young person, that's going to just mess you up.
And a lot of that is guidance. A lot of the kids don't
really
lack of guidance. Yeah. And even as while you were coaching, I'm sure you gave a lot of guidance to the kids. Like even when, you told your player, go ahead, get a ticket.
Yeah.
I'm sure, that was a life lesson.
And she's probably looking at me like, what?
But I'm sure she looked back on it and was like, that was some guidance that I got,
Yep.
Yeah.
we have a lot that we can offer these kids. And,
yeah, for sure.
Sometimes we're so caught up in our own lives that we forget. But parenting is different than what we had. And I can't say you all because y'all young too, but parenting's different than what I had.
Yeah.
I remember projects that I used to do with my students, and I would make them create a family tree, and some of them couldn't get past grandmothers, because we don't even talk to our kids. And then you ask them, what's your mother's name? If you're right, they give you nickname. No, what is it? They don't know because we don't talk to our kids anymore.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of things that's, now that I've gotten out of education, teaching and I can see it better now. I'm looking at it from a different set of lens, and it makes me want to make necessary changes.
Well, that's inspiring.
Yeah.
That's good that and yet even as our generation, I see from how I was raised, it's different now how these kids are being raised, and a lot of it also goes down to respect. Respect is not taught like it used to be,
or not demanded.
Not demanded.
Yeah,
I should say yes.
Yeah.
So that's definitely one thing. I think just getting. I think being. I can't speak. I'm not a parent, but parenting, it differs. Not every parenting style works for the same kid, So as long as you find the right parenting style for you and your kids or whoever, I think that's important.
With me, I think one thing that helped me as an educator is being 6 feet tall and keeping a child in a child's place. I never was a friend to my students. I could sit down and talk to them. We could laugh together, but they knew I was still the adult. I allowed them to share with me. I'd listen. And sometimes it's just a kid just wants you to hear them, instead of always telling them what to do. Sometimes just let them tell you what they're feeling. It always worked for me, I think. But like I say, my stature and height was always, because I never was. Now, like I smile all the time now. When I'm standing out in the hall, I was never smiling. I'm standing probably looking like a giant to some of them, but they knew my heart. Yeah. I have a lot of kids now. I see them now, and we still talk about our fun times. And it was so funny. It seemed like I was always attracted to the kids that were considered the problem kids in school. But sometimes it's just a touch. They just want to know that someone cares. And those are the things that I miss about education. Don't want to teach anymore. I'm through with that. But I do miss the kids mainly.
Yeah, some of the kids, they just need an outlet. They don't have an outlet at home. And just you having a lend an ear, that means a lot to them.
Yeah. I can say this now that I'm retired and way away. But when I want to discipline them, and we had cameras, I said, come in here. Get off that camera. Come in this room. Get off that camera. I got something for you. Got something for you in this.
Right. And that's different times because you can't do that anymore.
You can't. Well, you know what? I can say that even after I retired, or I was still teaching, I was blessed to be on second generation. So the parents knew me. Right. And so I didn't have problems because they said, I wish I would have known you were still here. You wouldn't have had to call me. I said, well, I have to do it right. So when I whip them, at least you're aware of it, that kind of thing. But yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, you do have to be careful because parents now, even though in situations, they are asking you for things to help with, but they don't want you to help discipline them. Yeah. And that's where you need the most help. Yeah. Because these kids are going into classrooms being disruptive, being disrespectful, and you need somebody to help you because it's evident that you need help. Yeah. So we have to figure it out. We're going to have to find way to work with the parents and let them know that we're really there to help them, not to harm them or their children.
Yeah. Right. No, that's well said.
Yeah.
That's well said. I wanted to ask you, kind of bridging it back, as a coach and a teacher, I guess mostly as a coach, which coach in your past do you think you resembled the most? Or did you just take pieces from that, or was it totally your own coaching style?
I really think my coaches combined. I learned a little bit of something from each one of them that stuck with me, that I wanted it to be a part of my coaching career. like I said, Coach Blair he was kind of laid back, didn't ever raise his voice at us for the most part. But then Pat was a disciplinarian. Miss Gunner was more of just the teacher. So all of them had their own styles. I can tell you what I didn't want from Miss Gunner. She squat like, what's the girl at LSU? I can't even, that's crazy. LSU's coach.
Oh, I cannot think of her name. I know exactly who you're talking
Kim
about.
Mulkey. Kim Mulkey.
Yes.
Can squat all night. Miss Gunner was the same way. I look at that, and that make my knees hurt just watching them squat. They can sit there and coach from that squatting position almost the whole game. I said, that would never be me.
You never tried it once?
Never. You don't do things that you know that.
Right. Well, I know my body can't do that.
Don't even bother.
Yeah.
So as a coach, I know you got to the quarterfinal. Did you ever get to a championship as a coach?
No. That was my one and only time at the state tournament as a coach.
Okay. I mean, it's still impressive that you got the squad there.
and to do it at the same school where I played.
That's
right.
Yeah, I think circle moment. That's
yes. That was, and you wanted it bad enough so that you could say you were a player and a coach, state champion. But it didn't happen, and I'm good with it.
Right.
Wasn't meant for me.
Well, I mean, the Dallas ISD still recognized you in 2019. They enshrined you in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
That's very impressive. That's something that will live forever.
Forever. And also, Coach Blair and I went in together.
Oh,
really?
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
Just y'all are connected. At the hip,
yes, forever and ever.
And you're also in the SFA Hall of Fame as well.
That was my first Hall of Fame induction.
Wow.
Stephen F. Austin. Then I went on to go into the Texas High School, Dallas Black Sports Hall of Fame, African American Hall of Fame. Okay. Then Dallas.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, five-time Hall of Famer. That's impressive.
Yeah. Yep. It's like I said, the road has been a blessing. Yeah. I've enjoyed every moment of it, and very thankful that people are still recognizing my contributions to women's sports. The Statler Hilton Living Legend Award. I'm receiving the Freddie James Award, who was probably best high school football coach back in the day at Carter High School. And I'm receiving his award named after him. And that's a great honor for me because I know he's one of the best.
Yeah.
So I will be receiving that award on February 9th.
February 9th. Okay.
I mean, once again, I keep saying the word impressive. It's impressive. You really
keep coming in.
Yeah. At this age, you're still getting on.
Yeah.
So I must be either I'm doing something right, living right, or both. So.
So throughout, were you always getting somewhat of recognition, or did it all just kind of seem like it came out of in the more recent time, like back in 2019, 2020? Like,
I think I've always received some type of award, not even thinking,
right?
But it seemed like more recently after and it probably even before the DISD. Because I was very surprised, but I've always been nominated by coaches that weren't even my teachers. They were at other schools. Coach Mayo nominated me for the Texas High School Sports Award. So someone, like I said, someone's always watching you. So I would be careful how you live and how you walk, because someone's watching you and you want it to be in a positive way that they see what you're doing. Yeah.
Well, absolutely. And you're also in this. The Slam Magazine. Miss Barbara has an article from 2022 in there. You can look out online on their website. It's very, very awesome. I'm glad that your story is getting out through our podcast. It's a very impressive story. I mean, I worked with you for a while, and I didn't know all the accolades and all this stuff. So being able to learn that about you and especially have you on here, it's very special.
Well, thank you. I try to live the life instead of always talking about it.
Yeah.
I used to tease my pastor because he had a habit of asking me, because I was tall, did you play basketball? I said, nope, I was a synchronized swimmer. That's what I said, something funny, like, because everyone thinks because you're tall that you're a basketball player. And I'm guilty of that sometimes. I saw this young lady, she was about 6'2", and she went to SMU, and I asked, do you play basketball? She says, no, I don't even like sports. And she was like a dancer or something.
Okay.
Yeah. So making assumptions just because of our height, I would say something smart off the wall. No.
I'm sure you heard that a lot.
Yes.
Yep.
That's the first thing people ask. You play basketball? Nope.
One thing, too, that I thought was cool, I wish I had it, I did not bring it. You have a trading card now.
I do.
You're even on a trading card.
But that was a Stephen F. Austin trading card.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because when Coach Blair left Arkansas, I guess he went to Stephen F. Austin to coach. I was already gone. But that was his way of commemorating me as a player because I was an All-American there. So, yes, I have a Stephen F. Austin trading card.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. When did those come out? Recently?
No.
No. Oh, no, it was back then.
He had them made, and then he sent it to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's you're out there for sure.
I am out there. And I'm just glad you see me at the level where you would want me to be a part of this, because like I say, I'm now reaching a whole different level. Yeah. Athletes are learning about old basketball and how we played back in the days.
No, it's definitely good to get, more of a history of back then and how the game has kind of evolved and changed into what it is now. Going through the future, what do you see yourself doing? You think you're going to stay within basketball or within a sport to help coach? I think you told me you were.
I'm back at my school 2 days a week, working with some of the young players now, and I'd been praying for that because I wanted to be around the kids, but I just want to be involved in the community and continue to help children wherever I can. I really do. I love it. And when I'm busy doing that, that's when I'm happy.
That's good.
That's great.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great way to be as you are, you want to help, you want to be a part of the solution.
Yeah.
Not saying you would ever be part of the problem. You want to fix things. You want to help fix things. Yeah. I think we need more people like that.
I just think we've gotten away too much from the parenting, school, education. We've gotten too far away from it, Mm-hmm. It's okay to kind of venture out and learn, but just don't throw it out the window like it's not important. Mm-hmm. Parenting is important. Education is important. All these things to help us build young men and young women. Mm-hmm. That's our job, That's our job.
Yeah.
Right.
I always tell people, whatever your profession is, thank a teacher, because everybody has to go through a teacher to get to wherever you're going.
Wow. That's true.
Yep.
That's very true.
Yeah.
I think that is one thing that players that that you see nowadays are getting away from the education. They're just solely focusing on sports. And the problem with that being is your sports career could end like that. And then you're left alone out there with no education. That's why I think it's important for you, like when you got your education as well as playing basketball, you went all the way, which is great.
Well, I was drafted by the Dallas Diamonds, since you said that, when I was a junior at Stephen F. Austin. And I turned them down because I had to get my education first, just in case I didn't make it. Mm-hmm. And before I graduated, they were already gone. It didn't last but 1 year. So I was glad I stayed to get my degree because, Yeah,
you would have joined that team and then
Yep.
been without a job and without your degree.
Exactly.
You made the right decision for sure.
So I was thankful for that too. I've just, like I said, God has really blessed me, and I'm thankful for everything that I've gone through. But I just know education was, it was good for me. Yeah. I enjoyed working with the kids, and I still do. I know I have, like you said, I have to approach it differently now because children are different. The young ladies and young men are different now. Mm-hmm. And it's not that I don't think a kid intentionally or disrespectful. They don't know any other way because no one has taught them. The things that we used to do, and I was in school, that school was an extension of my home. And when I left home, my mother knew when I went to school, those same teachers that were going to make sure that I did the right thing, as she has taught me. And we don't have that anymore. I don't know where it starts. Because you go to school, if you act like this at home, then you're going to act like the same way at school. I had so many sayings as a teacher because my son was at South Oak Cliff with me, my oldest. And I used to tell him before we get out of the car, son, you're on my job now. Those teachers are my friends, just like those kids are your friends. And if you show out in front of your friends, I'm going to show out in front of my friends. So we had an understanding that it's all about discipline. And because I wanted him at the next level to not embarrass me, but be a proud man, not someone that everybody was talking negatively about. And he is a good man. I have 2 strong young men, sons, and I have a daughter that's very successful, and I'm proud of all 3 of them. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. That is amazing. You have done a good job, for sure.
Well, I had a good teacher. My mother was awesome. Mm-hmm. Awesome. To raise 6 children by yourself, and we all are doing something, and it's becoming a generation from us to our kids. In our family, I have a niece that's a doctor, one that's an attorney, my nephew has his own. I mean, we have business men and women in our family. We have military men and women. Okay. We have leaders of different organizations. I mean, they're all doing well, and it all goes back to the foundation of my mother and what she taught us. We were too afraid to do anything wrong, so we bullied our kids the same way.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
That's definitely awesome. Inspiring to hear, especially as I have a 1-year-old daughter. So
get you another job because you're gonna need it.
Yeah, I know.
At least 2 jobs.
Yeah,
at least right. Those girls will break you. I tell you.
Yeah. I need this podcast thing to take off because she's gonna be breaking me. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
But I had my very good friend tell me that everyone should be blessed with a daughter.
Yeah. It's definitely a blessing. Yeah. It's definitely been eye-opening. I just view things way differently
exactly,
now. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. That's great. Good luck with that.
Thank you. Yeah. I need it.
So, go ahead.
No, I was going to tell him I babysit for a price.
Okay. Hey, as long as the price is right, I need you to teach her how to play defense. I know she's one.
She might not even want to play basketball.
She might not.
Is there one piece of advice you'd like to leave the viewers?
I think with me, whatever you decide to do, whatever that is, and make it your choice so that you will enjoy what you're doing first, and then you will always give it your best. You have to love what you're doing. I played basketball until I was 32 years old. I was playing hoop it up at 32.
Wow.
And because I love the game. And like I said, I played for fun. I wasn't just playing, to get accolades. I played for fun because I enjoyed what I was doing. And I think that's whatever you decide to do, making sure it's something that you want to do, that you enjoy it, because you'll put your whole heart into it, and you'll be the best at what you do. Don't be a quitter. That's the one thing I never allowed my children, whatever they got involved in. You can't quit. I don't care if you get to where you don't even love it and like it anymore. You got into it, you stay until you're finished. Yeah. But I don't think the quitting part would ever come if you love what you're doing, though. Just give it your all, because it's something you'll, like now, I look at how much fun I had playing, and now I'm being rewarded for it. But that wasn't my purpose. I just did it because I loved it.
Right. Wow. That's great.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you so much for coming on here. We've had a great time with you.
Thank you for inviting me.
Of course, Dallas's own legend, living legend, soon to be living legend.
She
here.
makes history everywhere she goes.
Everywhere she goes, making history. Yeah. Miss Barbara Brown-McCoy, once again, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you and Michael for the invitation and for having me. I've enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right. All right, guys. Thank you to Miss Barbara Brown-McCoy. She was a great guest. I hope you guys enjoyed that. We definitely loved having her on.
That was an amazing conversation.
Amazing conversation, man. She's awesome.
Yeah.
An inspiration, definitely, and I hope she did inspire some of our listeners, man.
Hopefully, man.
But yeah, as always, we appreciate you guys checking in. However, Mike, I'm gonna toss it to you.
As always, we can't leave the people without a little rotation.
Gotta have the rotation.
People without suggesting a song for them to listen to this week. Justin, what you got in your rotation this week?
Man, I got another good one, a banger, if you will, as you just heard before. I'm gonna pick the song. It's called "Big Brazy" by Molly Brazy.
Molly Brazy.
She's hard.
Okay, I guess it's ladies' night tonight, man. Because I'm gonna pick a song from Tia Corinne. "Young Jock" is the name of the song.
Okay.
Featuring Lil Tyler. Lil
yeah,
Tyler.
I know Lil Tyler.
Yeah. You can find those on our Right on Target Rotation playlist on Spotify, Apple, all that good stuff.
Yes, it is the Right on Target Rotation Volume 2. New year, new playlist. Come on now. But yeah, you can definitely check those links down below. That's got everything, man. It's got our Instagram at Right on Target Pod, or TikTok, same thing. So definitely check that out down below.
Yes, sir.
But thank you guys for another episode of the Right on Target podcast. Like I've said multiple times, we had a great time, great interview. So thank you guys for tuning into that. We have more, big things coming for y'all this year, like we keep teasing. So we got another someone coming somewhat soon. Maybe.
We'll see.
Maybe.
We in talks, man.
Man.
We might see how it goes. Man.
We doing some deals over here. You know what I'm saying? Nah. But for real, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week. Peace.